I'm Shweta Ji from 3rd BCom A. My topic for the presentation: NSIC functions, National Small Industrial Corporation. MSME, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise. Meaning of NSIC: National Small Industry Corporation. NSIC is an ISO certified government of India enterprise under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise. NSIC has been working to promote, aid and foster the growth of micro, small and medium enterprise in the country. Functions of NSIC: to provide machinery on hire purchase scheme to small scale industry, to promote equipment facility, to help import marketing of products of small scale industry, to participate in bulk purchase program of the government, to impact training in various industrial trades, to undertake the construction of industrial estates. Thank you, ma'am.
Shweta NM from 3rd BCom A. Entrepreneurship Development Presentation. SSIB, Small Scale Industries Board is my topic. Small Scale Industries Board, SSIB. SSIB was started in 1954 by the central government with the objective of developing small scale industry throughout the country. The development work of small scale industries involves various ministers and departments and other factors like landowners, financial institutions, etc. Directors of SSIB advises the government about various development activities of small scale industries and related matters. The committee governing SSIB consists of industries ministers as chairman and various secretaries, members of parliament, state government, industry ministers and the committee. Advertisement. Advertisement is one of the main important component in both small scale and large scale industry. Hence, advertisement also plays a major role. Small scale industries. They are found in many places. India operates the largest and oldest programs of the development of small scale enterprises in any developing countries too. Thank you. This is Shweta NM from 3rd BCom A.
Hello friends, so my topic is about state small industries development corporations. These were set up in various states under the Companies Act 1956 as the state government undertakings to cater to the primary developmental needs of the small, tiny and village industries in the state or union territories under their jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means the official power to make legal decisions and judgments. Incorporation under the Companies Act has provided SSIDS with greater operational flexibility and wider scope for undertaking a variety of activities for the benefit of small sector. Important functions performed by the SSIDS is to procure and distribute scattered raw materials, to supply machinery on hire purchase system, to provide assistance for marketing of the products of small scale industries, to construct industrial estates, providing allied infrastructure facilities and their maintenance, to exist seed capital assistance on behalf of the state government concerned, provided management assistance to production unit. Thank you.
Hello ma'am, my name is Tasneem Firdos, 3rd BCom A, Group 10 representative. My entrepreneurship development topic is tax holiday and benefits from Unit 5 project assistance. Tax holiday is a temporary reduction or elimination of tax. So tax holiday is not permanent, it's just temporary reduction or elimination of the tax that we pay. A tax holiday is a period during which a person or a company is allowed to pay no tax or less than the usual. Usually the company pays a tax, and when it comes to tax holiday, the company is allowed to pay no tax or less than what they pay. Governments usually create tax holidays as incentives for business investments. Even the government has taken initiative to create the tax holiday as incentives for the business investments. A tax holiday can encourage economic activity and foster growth. A tax holiday has a lots of benefits, and it also encourages economic activities. So basically, benefits of tax holiday are tax relation on school supplies, sales tax break on other products, facilitates foreign investments, attracts offshoring companies, promote economic activities, initiates growth, maximizes long-term tax revenue. So small scale industrial undertakings can claim deduction at the following rates. So here the SSI industries can claim the tax reduction for the following rates. If the small scale industries unit is owned by a company, then they can avail a deduction of 30% for the first 10 years if it's owned by a company. If it's owned by a cooperative society, then the deduction can be availed for the 25% for first 10 years. And any other person or other institute or anything owns SSI, then the deduction can be claimed for the 25% for 10 years, first 10 years. The small scale can avail this tax exemption facility only after fulfilling the following conditions. They can claim only after fulfilling these conditions, like no small scale or ancillary undertaking shall be subsidiary or owned or controlled by industrial undertaking. It should only be owned by a company, cooperative society or any other person. It should not be owned or controlled by industrial undertaking. The small scale industry unit can manufacture any nature, type of good or article to avail deduction. It can manufacture any type of goods or articles to avail the deduction. It has no specific condition for manufacturing the product. They should employ at least 10 workers in a manufacture process carried out with the aid of power. If they have a facility of the power, they should employ at least 10 workers. Or if they don't have the aid of power, they should employ 20 workers. So with the aid of power, 10 workers; without aid of power, 20 workers. My next topic is tax benefits. So tax benefit is a broadly term that refers to some type of savings for a taxpayer. Tax benefits reduce a taxpayer's monetary burdens. It reduces the tax for the one who pays the tax. It reduces the monetary burdens. Common types of tax benefits include deduction, credits, exclusion, and shelters. Tax benefits create some type of savings for a taxpayer. It definitely creates some types of savings for the tax who pays the tax. Tax benefits can come in a wide range of forms and may be known for the variety of knowns. It comes in various types and they are known in the variety of names. Tax benefits relate to income tax, excise duty, sales tax, electricity duty, octroi. Apart from these, small scale industries are entitled to central capital and transport subsidies. So tax benefits are basically related to these five, and apart from these, and the small scale industries are entitled to central capital and transport subsidies.
My name is Umme Ayman from 3rd BCom A. Package of incentives in Karnataka schemes are as follows: entry tax, interest-free loan, electricity duty, exemption from stamp duty, other benefits. Entry tax exemption. The policy provides for exemption from payment of entry tax on specified goods. The exemption will be available for different periods depending upon the location, size of the units. Electricity duty. Exemption from payment of electricity to forced ultra mega enterprises and focused super mega enterprises. Exemption from stamp duty on loan, agrees, lease, deeds, mortgage, etc. Other benefits are concessional registration charges, reimbursement of land conservation fee. Subsidies are also available under the policy. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello ma'am, myself Ummehureen HF of 3rd BCom A section. My topic for presentation is special concessions for exports. The following benefits will be extended to export oriented units EOU. The full form of EOU is export oriented units. What are export oriented units? Export oriented units are the units undertaking to export their entire production of goods, including manufacturing, services, development of software, etc. EOU is the scheme introduced by the Government of India to boost exports, to increase foreign earnings and to create employment in India. The main motto of government to introduce this scheme is to increase foreign earnings and to create employment in India. EOU can't be sold in local because it has to be exported. The work of EOU is only to export, and for this the government will give benefits to the EOUs. Now let's look into the benefits of EOUs. The first benefit is 100% export oriented units EOU. It's a plant of manufacturing in which 100% products are exported. As I told you, EOU work is only to export, and the government will provide benefits for this to the EOU. So the 100% products are to be exported. So it is known as 100% export oriented units. Under this, it is investment subsidy as indicated in para 1. Subsidy is nothing but a form of financial support provided to the particular sector, especially with the aim of promoting economic or social policy. These subsidies are not repayable but has to be used for definite purposes. So the government of India will provide subsidies to the EOUs for investment, in which exemptions will be provided to the EOUs for purchasing of materials, spare parts, etc. Whatever they purchase, the government will give subsidies for the investment to the EOUs. Exemption from power cut. Exemption from payment of entry tax and ST payable on purchase of raw materials, components, packing material, consumable, capital goods, space, material handling equipment, intermediates, semi-finished goods and sub-assemblies from a registered dealer. If the company is registered, then those EOUs will be exempted from paying tax. For example, if they are paying GST, the money for purchasing raw materials, finished goods, etc., whatever the amount is spent, the government will refund to the EOUs. The second benefit, units other than 100% EOUs with an export effort of a minimum of 25% of the value of total turnover. Units which are other than 100% EOUs will be given minimum of 25% of the sales. Investment subsidy as detailed above. As I told you in the first point, investment subsidy will be provided in EOUs, as in EOU. Refund of entry tax and ST payable on purchase of raw materials, components, packing materials, intermediates, semi-finished goods and sub-assemblies from a registered dealer. The Government of India will provide refund to the entry tax and ST payable on purchase of raw materials, components, etc. But while the entry tax will be refunded for the items within the state or outside the state, ST will be refunded only when the dealer is within the state. The third The third benefit is in case of subpara 2 above, the entry tax and ST on purchases would be payable on raw materials, components, packing materials, intermediates, semi-finished goods and sub-assemblies used for production for sale within the country. As I already told you, the government will refund and pay back the money to the EOUs, but the dealer should be within the country. These are the benefits provided by the government of India to the EOUs. Now let's move on to the another topic, relief package for revival or rehabilitation of Sikh industries. Revival is nothing but comeback. Sikh industries is nothing but if there is any illness or not profit in the organization, that is known as Sikh industries. When an industrial firm incurs losses for several years, it is known as Sikh industries. The following benefits will be extended to Sikh industries for their revival or rehabilitation. The first point is for SSI and medium scale industries which are not covered by BIFR. To continue the existing margin money scheme as spelled out in Government Order Number CIPUM 93 dated 26/12/96, KPTCL will not charge fixed charges or demand charges during closure period. Arrears of energy bills to KPTCL to be repaid in 6 half-yearly installments and interest charges for defaults would be reduced to 1.5% per month. SSI is nothing but small scale industries. The full form of BIFR is Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. The Government of India is provided with the benefit of BIFR, that is Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. It is the agency of Government of India provided under the Sikh Industrial Company Act 1985, which is known as SICA, SICA. The main purpose of this act is to reshape or recover the Sikh undertakings to grow or occur in the future for a longer period. So, the government will provide the KPTCL is nothing but Karnataka Power Transmission Corporation Limited. The Karnataka Power Transmission Corporation Limited will not charge fixed charges or demand charges during the industrial closure period. Arrears of bills has to be repaid to the Karnataka Power Transmission Corporation Limited in 6 half-yearly installments, and interest charges would be reduced to 1.5% per month. This is the benefit given to the Sikh industries. And the second benefit is for BIFR cases. For Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction cases, KPTCL will not levy fixed charges or demand charges during closure period. Karnataka Power Transmission Corporation Limited will not collect fixed charges or demand charges during the closure period. Arrears of energy bills to KPTCL will to be repaid in 6 half-yearly installments, and interest charges for defaults would be reduced to 1.5% per month. Tax arrears to the Commercial Tax Department to be repaid in 6 half-yearly installments with a nominal interest of 1.5% per month. They have to pay arrears of bills to the KPTCL within these 6 half-yearly installments, and interest charges would be reduced to 1.5% per month, and tax has to be paid to the tax department in 6 half-yearly installments with a nominal interest of 1.5% per month. These are the two benefits given by the Government of India to Sikh industries. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Ayman. I'm from 3rd BCom. My presentation is on the subject of entrepreneurship development. My topic is about subsidy. Meaning of subsidy. Subsidy means it is a benefit to an individual, business, or institution, usually by the government. The subsidy is typically given to remove same type of burden, and it is often considered to be in the overall interest of the public, given to promote a social good or an economic policy. The next is types of subsidies. First is production subsidy. A production subsidy encourages suppliers to increase the output of a particular product by partially offsetting the production cost or losses. The objective of production subsidizes is to expand production of a particular product. The next is consumer or consumption subsidy. A consumption subsidy is one that subsidizes the behavior of consumers. This type of subsidies are most common in developing countries where government subsidies things such as food, water, electricity, and education. An export subsidy, a government policy to encourage part of good and discourage sale of goods on the domestic market through direct payments. Low cost loans, tax relief for exporters. The next is employment subsidy. Our employment program is one way to provide income support to people who cannot find jobs in the regular labor market, particularly during periods of high unemployment. The next is tax subsidy. While a tax drives a wedge that increase the price consumers have to pay and decrease the price producers receive, a subsidy does the opposite. And the last is environmental externalities. In environment externalities, subsidizers are financially assistance given to organizations and companies as an incentive to change their behavior or to help offset the cost of mandatory environmental standard. The next is needs for subsidies. The need for subsidies arises for the following reason. The first is to remove regional disparities in development. Industries may be concentrated and overcrowded in some regions, but in order to correct this regional balance, subsidies are provided to entrepreneurs. The next is to prove competitive strength, survival, and growth. Several other subsidies are provided for the survival growth of industries. For example, reservation of products, price, preference, etc., will improve the competitive strength. The next is to generate more employment and remove unemployment. In market adjustment and external economies plays a significant role in the economic development of a country. Subsidizers cause movement of entrepreneurs from developed areas to develop or backward areas. The next is to promote entrepreneurship. Estates availability of power, concessional finance, capital investment, subsidy, transport subsidy, etc. are few examples of subsidies which are aimed at encouraging entrepreneurs to take up new ventures. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Varsha Sarvanan of 3rd BCom A. Today I am going to explain you about tax exemption. First of all, let us look into the meaning of tax exemption. Tax exemption is the reduction or removal of a liability to make a compulsory payment that would otherwise imposed by a ruling power upon persons, property, income or transactions. Tax exempt status may provide complete relief from taxes, reduced taxes or tax on only a portion of items. It says that it is a compulsory payment done by a person for his property, income, or transactions. By this, he would be relieved from taxes and he can pay taxes only a portion of items. Entry tax exemption. Entry tax exemption will be extended to all new industries, including large and small scale industries. So here they say that during the implementation of project on production machinery, the equipments directly involved in the production process. So they will be benefited for a maximum period of 3 years from the date of commencement of project implementation. And also say that commencement of commercial productions during the operational phase on raw materials, components, semi-finished goods, sub-assemblies, consumables, excluding petroleum products like petroleum, diesel, kerosene, etc. All these will be from the power generation units, and the entry tax exemptions are different for different areas. Here, the entry tax exemption for developed areas is nil, for developing areas is 3 years, and for backward areas it is for 5 years. And the basic exemption will remain rupees 2.5 lakhs or 2,50,000 for all the taxpayers. Those who earn from 2,50,001 rupees to 5 lakh, their income tax rate will be 5%, and those who earn from 5 lakh 1 rupees to rupees 7,50,000, their income tax rate will be of 7.5% or it will be of 10%. And those who earn from 7,50,001 to rupees 10 lakh, their income tax rate would be from 15%. Fiscal incentives to SSIs. SSIs is nothing but small scale industries. Fiscal incentives are provided through tax concession granted in the form of exemption of direct and indirect taxes leviable on production of profits beside special tax concession. Here they say that these fiscal incentives are given to the small scale industries to promote their production of profits. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, I'm Vinodini. I'm from 3rd BCom A. My topic for the presentation is tax holiday. A tax holiday is a government initiative program that offers a tax reduction or elimination to business. Tax holidays are often used to reduce sales tax by local governments, but they are also commonly used by governments in developing countries to help stimulate foreign investment. Small scale industries undertaking can claim deduction at the following rates. If SSI unit is owned by a company, the deduction available is 30% for first 10 years. If SSI unit is owned by a cooperative society, the deduction to be valid is 20% for first 10 years. If any other person owns SSI units, the deduction to be claimed is 25% of first 10 years. SSI unit can manufacture any nature, type of goods, article to avail deduction. The SSI unit should commence business 1st April 1991 and 31st March 2002. This tax exemption from total income is allowed from the assessment year in which the unit begins to manufacture or produce goods or excess consumption. The Government of India has provided a major relief of guaranteeing full exemption from the payment of central excess duty on a specified output and thereafter slab-wise consumption. The Government of India has provided a major relief by guaranteeing full exemption from a payment of central excess duty, being free from obligation. SSI units provide goods up to rupees 100 lakhs are exempted from payment of excess duty. SSI's unit having turnover less than 60 lakhs per annum did not have a separate storeroom for storing the finished product. The SSI exempted is available for home consumption as well as in respect of goods exported to Nepal and Bhutan. Let us see the two streams of concession to SSI. SSI scheme without SENVAT. This scheme was successfully proceeded the year 1st April 2000. If the rate of value of clearance is up to 100 lakhs, the rate of duty is nil. And if the rate of value of clearance is up to 100 to 300 lakhs, the rate of duty will be normal. The SSI scheme without central value added tax processed with this rate of duty is respect of clearance. SSI scheme with SENVAT. This scheme is effective from 1st April 2003. The SSI scheme with central value added tax. When the value of clearance is up to 100 lakhs, the rate of duty is 60% of normal rate. When the value of clearance is 100 to 300 lakhs, the rate of duty is normal rate of duty. Seed capital. This is also termed as an initial capital that is required to obtain loans from financial institution. Apart from equity, is known as a seed capital. It serves as an incentive to enter into an industry. The seed capital helps the entrepreneurs who does not have a sufficient fund to start an industry. Tax holding benefits available to SSL. New industrial undertaking including SSI are exempted from the payment of income tax under 80 of the Act on their profit up to 6% per annum for the capital employed. The concession is for 5 years from the commencement of production. SSI should satisfy the following condition before they become eligible for tax benefit. Tax concession given to SSI. The concession is for 5 years from the commencement of production. New industry undertaking in SSI are exempted from the payment of income tax under 80 of the Act on their profit up to 6% per annum for the capital employed. Concessional finance, central investment subsidy, tax holding for power sector, machinery on hire purchase from NSI, transport cost subsidies. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Yasin Sabah from 3rd BCom A, and welcome to my presentation on entrepreneurship development. My topic is taxation support. Concessions in matter of taxation for industries having 3 supportive roles, that is, marketing support, investment support, and raw material support. Let's see the first one, that is marketing support. Here, how the marketing supports the taxation. Concessions and excess duties and sales tax. Excess duties. So, it is a tax made to discourage the purchase of particular goods, typically like alcohol, tobacco, and some energy products. So, here they covers the cost of the tax by paying more for the product. This is excess duties. The next is sales tax. It is a tax paid to a governing body for the sales of certain goods and services. Here, sales tax is chargeable on any product purchased at retail or online. You charge the tax to your customers and then pass it on to the government. Rates vary by state and some don't charge it, so it can get complicated when you sell online. Getting it wrong can lead to major fines or criminal actions. This is sales tax. Here, example for sales tax is, if you purchase a new television for rupees 40,000 and the sales tax on it is 18%, then you would pay 7,200 as in sales tax. Your total bill would come as 47,200. So here, instead of paying 40,000, here you're paying 47,200. So this is nothing but this is sales tax. Next type of support is investment support. How the investment supports the taxation. Concessions and profit tax and dividend tax. Profit tax. Here, it is an amount of tax on profit paid by the business. In computing business tax rate, actual tax payable is divided by the commercial profit. So here, in the whole profit, certain percentage of the profit is taken as in profit tax. The next is the dividend tax. Here, it is a tax levied on dividends that a company pays to its shareholders out of its profits. So here the dividend tax, it is deducted at the time of company distributing dividends to its shareholders. The next type of support is the raw material support. Concessions and custom duties. Custom duties. So here it refers to a tax imposed on the goods when they are transported across the international borders. Here, the objective behind levying the custom duty is to safeguard each nation's economy, job, environment, etc. by regulating the movement of the goods, especially prohibited and restricted goods in and out of any country. Here, when a shipment of goods reaches the border, the owner and the purchaser must file entry document at the port of entry and pay the estimated duties to customs. So this is customs duty. So here it was three supports of taxation, that is marketing support, investment support and raw material support. Here ends my topic. Thank you.